Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
And thanks for that, Cliff. This is America's Heroes Group, our roundtable with our partner, Repatriate our Patriots. Today is Saturday, August 19th, 2023. August is National Wellness Month. You just heard our host, Cliff Kelley. I'm Sean Claiborne, the co-host. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith. Our digital media producer is Ortega of Scotch Arnold Productions. He's not here with us today, but he will be back shortly, and we'll be broadcasting out of WVON.com. So if you want to see us today, log into WVON.com. Also, you can see us on the iHeartRadio app, or hear us on the iHeartRadio app. You can also go to our YouTube channel and see our archive shows, and of course, our Facebook page. And of course, americashg.org is our website. So today we're going to have a partner with us, Danitza D. James. She's a U.S. Army Iraq combat veteran and CEO of Repatriate our Patriots. And our panelist, James Smith. He's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran and co-founder of Black Departed Veterans of America. There's that Black Deported, I think it should be, of America. How are you doing today?
Bless you, brother.
So tell us, we've heard many stories, James, about people who are not U.S. citizens, but we typically think of people being south of the border. We know that there's people that come from all over the world that serve in our military. But what is going on with the fact that we have people of color being deported, Black people in particular, in your case, because that's the organization that you work with? And then Ms. James, I'd love to hear again from you to tell us your story, to reiterate the importance of what's happening with those who've served this country but yet are not getting their citizenship. And in often cases, prior to 1996, people who joined the military joined with the notion that they would get their citizenship. So James, start with you.
Okay, well, first of all, we work with more than just Black deported veterans. It's just that Black deported veterans are our focal point. In the course of working in this since 2013, when I came into it as a documentarian, I wound up meeting different identified as Black. I first heard about Rohan Coombs back in 2013. He actually had been deported prior to 2010, and an article had been done on him at Democracy Now! So he was the first Black person that I knew of that had been deported. But I had no idea to think of Black people being deported. So I just thought it was a couple, and he was the only one that I knew of through the agencies that I had worked with at that time, which was Deported Veterans Support House and Unified U.S. Deported Veterans. Then as time went on, years went by, I learned about Howard Bailey and Roman Sabal. That had been deported, actually had been stopped from coming back in to the countries. They were veterans that were from Jamaica and Belize, but they had been stopped coming back into the country. So these were, but again, that was a spattering. In 2021, while I was riding around with Jesus Manuel Valenzuela across the country doing doing events to bring awareness, David Bardio from Kenya, who is my co-founder and co-director, and Charles Lee Severin from the Commonwealth of Dominica started following. So now this was two, basically you could say, live people other than the person that I know about from research. That I was like, okay, well, there's a couple more Black dudes. And then I learned about Rudy Richardson in the United Kingdom and about Jeff Brown in Jamaica. And so we wound up getting together and just having like talks every couple of months in 2021. Then in October of 2021, there was an opportunity that was given to deported veterans to be able to come. If you could make it to the border, you would be able to get your COVID shots and get your record books looked at for a possible service connection assessment. And I was happy for my brothers down in TJ and in Juarez, so I thought that maybe the government had also set it up for veterans in other countries to be able to go to their embassy or consulate and have those same things done for them. And they hadn't heard about it. So as we began to talk more and more, we started realizing that there wasn't really anybody noticing or paying attention that there was anybody past what they had learned of that was at the border in Juarez, which is fabulously taken care of by Repatriate Our Patriots and Unified U.S. Deported Veterans and Deported Veterans Support House in TJ. And that's all all, anybody that knew anything about deported veterans kind of knew. So donations went there, Focus went there, different politicians and stuff went there. So we realized that we needed to band together and to bring in attention that there were that this was not just a Brown thing, this was an American thing, and that's what gave birth to Black Deported Veterans of America in January of 2022.
So, Dee, can you tell us a little bit about why people from other countries come to the United States to serve in the United States military?
They come from the same reason that Hispanics and those at the border come, right, to have better opportunities, to build a better life, and just to make sure that they feel Americans. They know this is where they can have access to opportunities, and their commitment is just as strong as those in the Hispanic community. And I believe, thank you for giving us a space to talk about this, because like you said, yes, a lot of people feel that it's only Hispanics and Latin community, right, that get deported, especially because that's what we talk about on the news, right? You only hear the border down in Texas or in Tijuana, but we never look at the other borders, right? For example, Canada, right? We don't ever think somebody from Canada could be deported that, they were serving. We have people in the UK. We don't really think of those borders either. So it's important for us to also let people know that there are veterans in really, really dangerous places like Haiti. Haiti right now has no government, right? So we have a veteran there who is struggling to obtain his passport because there is really no law and no authority at the consulate. So in order for him to be able to travel back, he needs his passport.
Why do you think, Dee, that there is so much attention in media focused on the southern border, the border between us and Mexico, as opposed to, there's four sides to the country. It's a north, south, east, and west, but we always focus on the south.
Yeah, and I think it's all politics. It's all politics related. I know I have noticed that every 4 years, immigration topic comes to the top list on the networks. Right, there's always the drugs, coming to take our jobs. They're invading us, all of that stuff. Right, it's all driven by politics. And at the borders, right, we have Texas is a really high and mainly populated by Hispanics. So I honestly think that all of this news is driven to the south of the border because of politics.
And the facts seem to show this. Just everyday life, if this living in America, the facts seem to show that people coming from the southern border predominantly are not murderers and rapists, as certain people have said in politics and so on. I don't name any names, but they're actually mostly average everyday people. They just want to make a better lives, like you mentioned, for their families. They're not trying to cause any trouble. They don't have necessarily any higher crime rates than any other demographic in the United States, and in some cases lower crime rates in some communities that are Latina and Latinx. So it's ironic to me that a lot of the laws that are put up to try and address immigration and illegal immigrants in this country are basically geared around supposedly trying to stop crime and also trying to avoid terrorism. But the people that are being targeted are not the ones who are really truly bringing the crime and the terrorism. If you're a drug cartel, you're not trying to be a mule, go across the desert in 100-degree heat. You're coming across the front door. You're coming across the main gate because you already got connections. You're not coming bringing your stuff in on a backpack. You're bringing your stuff in semi trucks. Just keep it real. You're bringing it in on cruise ships. You're bringing it in on cargo ships and so on, and airplanes. You're not using, these crude methods to dig underneath of a wall to try to get into the country. No, you're using the big guns. So why again is
that's correct?
Yeah. So why again is the misinformation? What will take the how do we get the information out there so more people are more aware of? Because I think some people that don't live next to the border are confused by it. They don't really know what's going on down there. They think that it's just guns and hellfire going on because all these people are trying to rush the border. And then there's other people that think that really do believe that, that it's a threat, that these people are coming in and they're going to bring in gangbangers and they're going to bring in guns and they're going to it's all about human trafficking people. And there is a problem, don't get me wrong, with securing our border. But why is the focus at the wrong place. Going back to 9/11, one of the tipping points that created all of these laws we're talking about today, that was created by people who came into this country legally. They weren't from Iraq or Afghanistan. They came from Saudi Arabia. They had money and backing, and they had political power and clout. They came in with the U.S. They had illegal U.S. visas. They didn't come in under aliases or fake names. They came in under their own names and with the intent to harm American citizens, and did such. So once again,
this is
what
true,
do we do?
Well, actually, you kind of got to go back a little further. It actually starts, in a sense, with Timothy McVeigh. When he said, when Oklahoma City bombing, they thought that was people that were not born here that had done that. And when that uproar went up, that's when Congress started trying to put their foot down and get more stringent with the immigration laws. So it kind of starts back there, even before we get to 9/11.
Mm-hmm. And add to that, in 1996, so we're doing the research for this show. So the 1996 Anti-Terrorism Act, that was actually introduced by once Senator, now President, Joe Biden, actually created Title IV, which is a terrorist and criminal alien removal and exclusion provision, which expanded reasons for deportation. So essentially, people that were in the military who thought they could get a path to citizenship by being in the military, if they got pulled over for a DUI, if they got into a bar fight, if they did anything that was out of character, they could be deported.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening to our service members, right? They leave the military without their citizenship for a number of reasons. And when they get out, now they're just another immigrant citizen in the United States. And anything that is considered a felony is grounds for deportation. And I'm very glad that, the Black Deported Veterans of America is bringing awareness to that population as well, because we need the support from everybody. The NAACP, right? When they found out that there are African Americans that have served in the military and that now they've been discarded, right? They're actually also providing support. Is that correct, James?
Yes, that's very correct. So that's one of the things that we're trying to make sure that we do with groups like Repatriate or Patriots, and one of our greater partners, LULAC, is to raise a greater awareness so other institutions that cover other ethnicities and cultures, like Asian culture, Middle Eastern culture, every other culture is represented in this. There are people deported all over the globe, and we want to make sure we bring a greater awareness of this and make sure that people aren't just focused on this ideology is that this is just an immigration issue with Mexico. That this is an issue about veterans, the honor of veterans, that you have a responsibility. This government has a responsibility to be looking out for protecting the people that protect it.
So, Dee and James, both of you guys, I want you to, if you have any information about what legislation or any movement on the Hill or any movement in D.C. that's trying to address this issue to make it more fair for how veterans are being treated and being deported.
Well, currently, right now, Congressman Mark Takano has reintroduced the Veteran Service Recognition Act. Now, it was introduced last June, and it actually passed through the judiciary, which was the first bill that actually anyone that had put up or introduced a bill in behalf of trying to help deported veterans. It was the first bill that actually passed the judiciary, and then it actually passed the House in December of 2022. Unfortunately, it died in Senate. It was reintroduced back in June, I believe it was June 15th, by Representative Mark Takano from California, and its partner, Senator Padilla, also from California, is introducing this. Again, it's called the Veteran Service Recognition Act. And what it is an opportunity to stop what has happened. It's to legally put a law in place, because right now everything that's happening is by policy. This would be a law that would put in place to make sure there is a solid pathway for non-citizens to their to citizenship through the military. Then also make sure that it takes care of their immediate family members so that they are not worrying about their family members while they're in a combat arena. And then the third major element is it would begin to provide a board that would look at bringing back those that had already been deported. So it's called the Veteran Service Recognition Act. It's currently H.R. 4569. To please, what we would love for is the VSOs and the people to write their congressmen and tell them, hey, listen, every veteran that raised their hand should be considered a citizen because they're putting more on the line than anyone else has ever done. So in this opportunity, please back the Veteran Service Recognition Act, H.R. 4569. And help us bring our brothers back and make sure that this thing never happens again.
Dee, in some cases, there has been... Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to add on to what James has mentioned, right, is that right now in the month of August, we have legislators coming back home, doing town halls, doing appearances, right, to earn their constituents' vote. Well, what you can do to help us, right, is you can call even the Capitol switchboard. If you can't attend the town hall, you can call. The phone number is 202-224-3121. Just let them know where do you live, and they will connect you with your representative's office, and then you express your concerns. This is something that it's focused on the military service, not an immigration issue. This is where we lose our people whenever we're talking to them about this. They think it's an immigration issue, and it's not. They've served this country. They've earned their benefits. They have the right to access them here in the United States.
And it even seems illegal that you can serve in the military and be deserving of, by contract, U.S. VA benefits, but yet be denied them because the government puts you in an environment that you're unfamiliar with in another country, and you can't access your benefits.
That's one of the problems, right, is that nothing is written in a contract. The recruiters go out, and the recruiters, telling us, oh, you can become a citizen, you get money for education, for college, and that is the only thing that is actually written in the contract, that you will get the GI Bill, right? The citizenship part of it, no. Once they sign us up, they ship us up to basic training, and we're no longer their problem. Now we are a number for the military, and us being immigrants it doesn't impact the mission. So if it's up to us to do it, figure it out, hey, it's my problem, not theirs. And that's what we're trying to change, right? The military can fix this without any legislation. They can fix it by making the commanders and leadership accountable to ensure that the service members obtain their citizenship within their first contract.
So, Memo to President Biden, you were the one who introduced the bill back in 1996, the Anti-Terrorism Act. Maybe you can do an executive order of some sort and get something moving for these veterans who are being deported who served this country and did so with bravery and honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, James and Dee.
Thank you.
D. James, Danitza, D. James, and James Smith. Both. You guys got have great work ahead of you. And this is really important work ahead of you as well. Keep us posted on what's going on, and we'd love to hear back from you again in the future.
Well, thank you very much. And with shows like yours out there, with shows like yours out there, it'll give greater awareness. So thank you for having us.
This is America's Heroes Group. We'll be right back.